In a mother's love, you will find everything's alright. To a mother's love, you are bound. You can rest on sacred ground. You are free to dream, because she sees what you can be. Did you know that mental health is a family affair? It's a family affair. It's a family affair. It's a family affair. It's a family affair. Well, one child grows up to be somebody that just loves to learn, and another child grows up to be somebody you just love to burn. Mama loves the both of them. You see, it's in the blood. Both kids are good to mom. Blood's thicker than the mud. It's a family affair. It's a family affair. It's a family affair. Oh, a family affair. It's a family affair. It's a family affair. Nobody wants to blow. Nobody wants to be left out. You can't leave 'cause your heart is there. But you can't stay 'cause you've been somewhere else. You can't cry 'cause you look broke down, but you're crying anyway 'cause you're all broke down. It's a family affair. It's a family affair. It's a family affair. Well, it's a family affair. Hey, hey. Justice for CJ, a son, brother, father, uncle. Up drove the hearse Cadillac. A crowd of people gathered around, all dressed in black. And as they removed his body from the car, such pain she never knew had filled her heart. It happened on an early Saturday morning when the noise from the phone really disturbed her. She wasn't too sure at first just what the caller meant when they informed her that there had been an incident. Why, oh why, the sound of a mother's cry as she gathered herself and wiped the tears from her eyes. Somebody asked who was the next of kin. But oh Lord, it was the beginning of her end. March 17th, 2018. CJ will forever be 22 years young. Justice for CJ. I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a sense of pride to make it easier. Let the children's laughter remind us who we used to be. Everybody's searching for a hero. People need someone to look up to. I never found anyone to fulfill my needs. A lonely place to be. So I learned to depend on me. I decided long ago never to walk in anyone's shadow. If I failed, if I succeed, at least I'll live as I believe. No matter what they take from me, they can't take away my dignity, because the greatest love of all is happening to me. I found the greatest love of all inside of me. The greatest love of all it's easy to achieve. Learning to love yourself is the greatest love of all. And if by chance that special place that you've been dreaming of takes you to a lonely place, find yourself in love. Welcome to my world. Come on in and make yourselves at home. Welcome to my life. I know everything's gonna be all right. Welcome to my world. Oh, won't you come on in? Welcome to my life. It's known as the Tiger's Den. Greetings to all of my subscribers. I want to thank you for being with me for as long as you have, and the new subscribers that's coming on in. We want to say greetings and thank you for your time. This is from Toothless and the moderators. Welcome to the Tiger's Den. Greetings and welcome to the Tiger's Den. This is the voice of Cheryl, and I am Toothless Tiger. I'm so happy you guys are here tonight. I told you, I almost was not here. I don't know, sometimes you go through those moments in time when you just feel like blah, 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 blah. Today was kind of one of those days, and perhaps it's the change in weather in the fall of the year, which is really my time of year. But I just felt real lackadaisical for some strange reason. I want to greet everyone. Laura, Madria, So Alicia, congratulations. 10 months a member. I appreciate you. Brianna, so very good to see you. Kelly G. Izetta. Asatar, sometimes you're the lone male that dares to type in the chat. And we certainly appreciate you for all of your love and support. Phyllis. Auntie Fee. Good to see you. In the clouds, in the sky, wherever you may be. We certainly appreciate you being here. This is October, and I call it Pink October, although we know the pink signifies, for some, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And we want to keep anyone that is going through the illness of breast cancer, that has survived breast cancer, or that have lost a loved one to breast cancer. We definitely want to acknowledge them and let them know that we too support you in your struggle, in your fight. Hi, RLG. I didn't know you were here. Good to see you. So we want to be very mindful of those people because they're going through some things that we probably will never ever comprehend. And then we must also be aware that not only do women experience breast cancer, but there are rare occasions where men have been diagnosed with breast cancer. And so we want to keep them lifted up. Also, we go for the purple. The purple signifies Domestic Violence Month. And many of us have been a part, I guess you could say a party to, a part of, witnesses of domestic violence, or we've heard stories. And so we want to keep those families in mind, the men and the women, because men are not the only one that are physically abusive. We have men and women, and we don't know what motivates a person to do what they do. Oftentimes it's something that they've been through in their own lives, or something that they have survived, and they didn't learn how to handle those emotions and those feelings, and so they lash out. And then some people are just pure, wicked, and they just do wicked things. But I found the majority of people have human experiences and don't know how to deal with them or cope with them, and don't have a good support system to help them navigate through whatever the situation may be. So we want to keep those people in prayer and uplifted as well. One of the topics that we're going to be talking about tonight is one that Regina M gave us last week, and it was about social media. It was about the news, is what she was saying, and I was thinking about news media, period, like the outlets, like your local news media, as opposed to the world news, and then bringing it on to, the social media platforms. But basically, it is a very good, well-written paper that I have available, or you can look it up yourself on YouTube, that is about social media and relationships and self-conscious emotions. So it's talking about how you relate as you are on social media. And it's a study that was done, and the different outcomes that they came up with. Anything that you have to add to the conversation is always welcomed. So please feel free to, add to the conversation, or if you have something that you want us to talk about, then please feel free to bring that up, because it's very important that we do that. I'm much of the opinion that we have this opportunity to speak to the world and let our voices be heard so many times. And this is where I was thinking about with the media and the news and, the networks and things of that nature. So many times we are under supported and underrated. And so we have a big problem with how we're treated in this country as a people. And we always are complaining about our voices are not being heard, or we're not being recognized or seen as individuals and contributors to a society that couldn't be without us. And so I was much of the opinion that we should, be talking about things on this platform that we don't ordinarily get to hear and talk about. Unfortunately, many people are not interested in any of that. We all kind of grew up in a culture and a custom where we do certain things in our neighborhoods, and it's as if we're bringing the streets, to the YouTube streets, the mentality. The only thing is missing is the physicality, but I think we have more to offer each other. A lot of us don't realize how much we are so alike, because we think we're different. We live in different places. We come from different backgrounds, and we don't believe that the human experience happens to us all, no matter what status we may hold. The human experience is going to happen, and we're more alike than we are not alike. But we are so underrepresented. And so I believe when you get an opportunity to represent yourself, then you should represent and let your voices be heard, your thoughts because you matter. And if you don't know that, then I'm telling you that you matter, no matter who you are, no matter what mistakes you've made in your life, because there are a lot of mistakes here in the metaverse. We hear a lot of bad things about people, and we don't know each other. We just know what we share. And some of us don't share anything. And so we have no concept of who you are. A lot of people are avatar driven. Just like I'm behind the avatar right now. Of course, I won't stay behind the avatar, but I'm behind the avatar now. Basically, I do that when I'm reading. But yes, Maria, you matter no matter who you are. And don't ever let anybody tell you that your opinions, your thoughts, your feelings are insignificant, because they may be insignificant to the person you're talking to, but they're not to you. And you have to know in your knower that you are equally as important to whomever you speak to and on whatever subject you speak about. Now, if you're speaking about something you don't know anything about, then you're at a disadvantage and you're doing yourself a disservice if you want to claim any kind of power in that conversation. But I believe in speaking truth to power. And when you speak truth to power, then it'll show and people will listen. Even people who don't want to listen to what you have to say, they will be intrigued enough to just want to find out, or what you talking about today. I know that's true. Happens to me all the time. Hi, Rachel. Glad you're here. It's very, very, very important, I believe, that we get back to basic human love one for another. We must have love one for another. But it starts with love of self. And a lot of people have a problem with loving themselves because they have a problem with forgiving themselves for a lot of things they've done in their lives. And they could have been little mediocre things, probably something you did when you were a child, and it's forever embedded in your mind. And you knew it to be wrong, or you believed it to be wrong, but you just haven't gotten over it. And that's because you won't forgive yourself. I say forgive yourself and move on. That's the best way to live life. And you don't have to forgive anybody if you choose not to. No, it's a choice. It's a choice. We're taught and it's embedded in us. We must do this. We must do this. We can't do that. We can't do this. No, 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 no. The law of the land really is a beautiful one. It's nature's law. It's God's law. And that is, if you don't harm me and I don't harm you, no harm is done. But we know when we harm others by word or by deed. We know when we're intentionally being condescending, when we're being sarcastic. We know when we're being loving. We know when we're not being loving. We know when we're being caring. We know when we are picking our words wisely. And then we know when we're misusing words. We know that as an individual. So you have to decide what you mean to you. And I use this phrase all the time: to thine own self be true. And if you're true to yourself, I guarantee you'll be true to everybody you meet. Some people don't want truth. They don't like truth, and truth is nowhere near them. So you probably won't ever get the accolades or the applause from those people. And that's because the truth is not in them. But you want to strive for people that are truthful, people that are doing things that you perhaps want to do one day. You want to look at life as I can and not I can't. Because as Phyllis said in her speech in Washington, I can came before I cannot. You had to add the not to it. But I can do whatever I set my mind to do if I choose to do it. And it has to be your choice, not my choice for you, as one of my favorite sayings. And you know, I have a lot of favorite sayings, but as one of my favorite sayings, it goes, what is it? I don't know. I have so many, I don't forgot which one I was about to share. Woo, doggy. Oh, do you ever get tickled till you tickle yourself? Okay, well, that's where I live most of the time. I tickle myself. I tell you, I have more fun with myself than most people have with a room full of people. And that's because I be coming up with some stuff. I don't know what's going on in my head from time to time, but I was going to say some good shit. And I think what I was about to say was we all fall short of other people's expectations, sometimes even our own. So, you know, you just got to roll with the punches and be true to yourself. And if you do that, I guarantee you, you'll be true with everybody you meet. That's really what I was trying to say. Rachel, I want to say thank you for the super sticker. Thank you so very much. And let's just give an acknowledgement to that.
Your face. You got to remove the excess water. Now she's coming
This
out.
is how you do it. Thank you. Okay. Uh, Let me see what Phyllis says. Expect nothing from others, and you will be disappointed. I think she meant expect nothing from others, and you will not be disappointed. The only thing about life for me that I found is I haven't been able to live in unexpected expectations. I hear people say that they go into things with no expectations, and I'm happy for those people that can literally do that. I'm not one of those people, but I just know that we all fall short of other people's expectations of us, and sometimes we're even falling short of our own expectations. And so a lot of people call me, well, not a lot, one or two people call me a pessimistic person. And I like to call me a realist, because I live in a real world where people have real feelings and they cause real pain. And sometimes for no real reason, they just do it because they feel that they can do it. And so I just like to acknowledge what I see, hear, think, or feel. And again, move on. Phyllis also said, validate yourself. Do not let others put you down to bring them up. And that's a very, very, very great statement, because a lot of people will do that. And in the name of they're not doing that, but that's exactly what they do. And I see as so Alicia is having fun with the Armoranians. And so I guess we've heard of some Armoranians lately, not Armenians, but Armoranians. She can type so well, she means she can't type so well. She's talking backwards, but she really makes a lot of sense if you have, listened to her in a conversation. Listening to her on this YouTube, you might really uh, think she has a problem. Auntie Fee said, real talk, I got to keep it real with myself to my own self be true. That's so true. Hey, Laquita, good to see you. And Phyllis said, I said my typing is not good. Okay, I will listen now. Don't feel bad, Phyllis. I can pretty much interpret what you're trying to say. I might not know everything, but I know a little bit of what you're trying to say. But y'all, it's just so good to be able to be in a place for me that I can be satisfied with what I have. I look at my numbers still to this day. I gained 21 people last month and then lost almost, well, all 21 almost, but I'm still a little bit above the fray. And you wonder, and I tell people all the time, numbers are an illusion, so don't get caught up in the numbers. But as a human being, you just wonder what makes a person, everybody, 5 or 6, 10 people would come and sign up, and then within one show, they're gone because I'm only on twice a week. But I cannot get caught up in that because what I realize is everybody is not going to get it. Everybody does not want it, and everybody is not going because everybody don't want to do what it takes to get wherever it is you're trying to go. My mama taught me, and all her children at a very young age, that you never envy anybody for what they have because you may not be willing to pay the price that they're willing to pay. And I've lived my life by that statement because it's so very true. And when you live your life by that statement, for me, I found there's no envy in me for no one, nothing, because I'm not willing to do a whole lot of things that people are doing. And I'm not saying what the people are doing are bad things. They're absolutely good things. I'm just not willing to do those things. And so when you're not willing, then in my mind, this is just my mind, not nobody else's, then I don't have a right to talk about what you're willing to do. Now, I'm going to talk about people. That's what I do. I'm going to do that. But I don't have the right to judge you and to put you in any light other than what you show. And that's the light I'm going to put you in. So no matter if I'm talking good or bad about you, if you out there doing what you love to do and you getting it, I can't do nothing but applaud you because you're doing what you want to do and you have the tenacity and the courage to do it. Because a lot of us don't have that, and we'll use every excuse in the book to make you feel bad about having what was given to you by your creator. Hey, Crystal, good to see you. I tell you, this YouTube thing is really fascinating to me. I remember when I was just a subscriber and a viewer on YouTube because a lot of people that I used to look at, I didn't even subscribe to them. If you don't really know how this YouTube thing works, you can really get caught up in some of the weirdest stuff, as I found myself caught up in. But the good thing for me, being caught up in whatever you're caught up in, knowing a way out. And another one of my favorite sayings, and it's the scripture, and that there is nothing that has overcome you that is not common to man, that you're not provided a way of escape. And the way that I escape is by the pen and the paper. I'm not going to allow you to just do and say anything about me or to me. I can't stop you from being vocal. I can't stop you from even being physical, but I can stop you once it happened to me from messing with me. I'm not talking about me. This is a land where you can talk about anything and anybody for any period of time you choose to. You have that right. But when you go and you do what is required of you and you come out an $11 million winner, then I can't be upset or angry with no one, no matter what other people think. When you know that it's on that docket that you have $11 million judgment, then all you can do is smile. And I think Kirk Franklin said that. Smile. Even when it looks like things are going against you, smile. Even when you're toothless, smile. You see, because the smile is not predicated upon you having teeth in your mouth. No, the functionality of a smile comes with your lips and your face and the muscles in your face. The teeth is just a beautiful payoff when you smile. If you have a beautiful set, then that's just something extra to look at. But the smile is on your face. And then there is a song that says, smiling faces tell lies. They don't tell the truth. So you have to be aware of some smiles, because not all smiles are smiles of happiness for you. You know, you have deceitful smiles, cunning smiles, baffling smiles. But you be sincere in your smile, and you can't worry about nobody else's smile. You just can't do it. You be sincere. Let you be the change that you want to see. And if you're not willing to be that change, then just accept what you see. You see, you don't have to be the change, but the only way things normally would change is if you change, however it is you are. If you're good, get better. If you're not so good, get good. And if you're bad and just want to be bad, then be like Michael Jackson, really, really bad. That's what you got to do. But you have to decide, which one is it? I wished for children and their parents open communication. Communication is what makes relationships work and last forever. Being tolerant of each other and being willing to accept that person, not accept any type of behavior, the person. Understanding what respect is, understanding what love is. These things are actionable. They're not just mere words that sound sweet or music to our ears. If they're not backed with action, then I don't know that you love me. The mother that loves her baby, she loves her baby so much that she won't pick her baby up. What kind of love is that? You see, because we're really interdependent beings. Even though we're independent, we're interdependent as well. We need the human touch. And you can see that if you just look at the animal kingdom. You know, they don't sit down and put their babies in their first two legs as arms. They just rub up against each other all the time. They lick on each other. Now, we don't have to go to no licking. No, we don't have to do all of that. But we certainly can cuddle. We can certainly hug. We can certainly rub noses. You know, we can do little bitty things that mean so much to little bitty people. Our children love it when we touch them, when we pay them attention. It's nothing greater than a human touch when it's a soft touch, not an inappropriate touch, not a knock upside the head, but a soft touch of affirmation to just let you know, I'm here, I'm with you. And sometimes we have to do that to adults because they're going through so much pain, and we know no words that we can use to help them get through that pain. So what do? We offer them what we have. And sometimes that's silence and just a touch on the shoulder, or just a hug, or a kiss on the forehead, or just a holding of hands, just to let you know that I'm with you and you're not alone. Some people can receive that. Some people cannot. I've listened to a lot of people on this web, and what I've heard a lot that I didn't know existed, even though I know that it exists because I know foster moms. It's a lot of people on this app have gone through the foster system, and it wasn't kind. And that's very sad and disheartening. It's a lot of things that you get to learn about a person, not by what the person actually says, but sometimes it's about what the person is not saying when they're talking. And when they're talking is writing in the chat. Because, of course, if nobody writes in the chat, then nobody knows you're there. And it's funny to me how we assume because the person didn't write in the chat, they wasn't there listening to, looking at, and learning from, or not learning from whatever it is that we have to say. But they're there. Those who have ears, let them hear. Those who have eyes, let them see. And for those who don't give a damn, stay away. It's not necessary to come in the chat to let me know you don't give a damn about me and nothing I have to say. That's not necessary. Perhaps for that individual, it makes them feel good in the moment. That's one of the things that this article is talking about. They talk about two emotions, guilt and shame. And a lot of people live in those two places. And those emotions were given to us to feel, not to live. You should not live in guilt and shame. Oh, yeah, they can visit you because they're human emotions. And every emotion that you have, you can experience that emotion. Remember, it's also written, you can be angry, but sin not, is what it says. So that means you can be angry with anybody, but just don't hurt nobody. Don't do anything to anybody. Rachel said she hates talking all that time. Her head so sensitive. I'm gentle, but she extra. Laugh out loud. Okay. I didn't get the beginning of that, so I gotta see what that says. Laquita said, I stay out of shit. Best thing to do. And that is so very true, Laquita. 100%. That is. And unfortunately, when you're in the world, you can do everything in your life to stay out of shit and be drawn into it. And it's how you respond to it and how you deal with it will determine how long you're probably going to be in it or how long it's going to, keep affecting you. And so Asatar says that he's working, so he apologized if he missed any of you by saying hello because he's dashing right now. And he does that when I'm on. So he just wants everybody to know. Hi, Transparent Talk. Glad you're here. Appreciate you for coming. So it's I've learned over my 64 years, and I do want to remind everyone, October the 26th, I'll be 65 years old. If I live to see it, I'll be 65 and still alive. And I always just say if I live to see it, because none of us are promised tomorrow and we don't know what it brings, but I'm definitely planning on seeing it and planning on being here for it. And I know that however it goes, it is well with me. It is well with me. So Alicia said, there is no love like a mother's love. I loved my mother with a deep love. I can't explain it. To hug her was like heaven as a child. And that is so very true because that's exactly what it is. And there is no love like a mother's love when you have a mother that loves. And there is no pain like a mother's pain when the mother has problems and cannot relate to their baby. And a lot of people can't relate to that. But again, it's all a human issue. And sometimes you just need somebody to pour into you something that was missing. But if you're a person who can't talk about it, then no one can really help you. It's very hard for somebody to help someone that don't realize that they need help. And that's a lot of our problem as people. We don't realize that we need help. We can see it in other people. Thank you so very much. I appreciate that. We can see it in other people, but sometimes when we're affected by an issue, it's blinding and we can't see it and we don't understand why, where, when, how did this happen to me. I don't know if anybody ever been there, but I've been there. you know And we can go through some things that we think that we are so healthy on and we got a handle on, and we're smack dab in the middle of the dysfunction and don't even realize that we're in the dysfunction. Asatar said, so Alicia, wow. So you're going to mean now all cause I asked you not to call me? Stop hating on me. My people like me to acknowledge them and apologize for my lack of acknowledgement. Okay, here y'all go playing with one another again. I'm not reading y'all communication. Have fun. That's just another brother and sister. They always got something to say about each other and to each other. Hey, TY, glad you're here. Tell them again, so Alicia. Tell them again, would you please? But a lot of people I found here on this app that's seemingly have been in the foster system, seemingly had very bad experiences. And I'm sure that there are bad experiences. Me, knowing a few foster moms, have seen some children have some beautiful outcomes, even to the point of adoption. And they went on to go to college. And I don't know what they're doing today, but I know that they were given that opportunity and took advantage of that opportunity. But it's a lot of pain that's out here on this app. And so what I found is it's amazing. My mind works all kind of ways, y'all, and it travels, so crazy. It's not even funny. But I thought about when we all, as a people, came together and how it was all kumbaya and it was all for a mission, and we all thought we were going to be contributing to something great. And then we allowed whatever the dichotomy was that broke us all apart to send us in different directions. And instead of everybody keeping the mission of doing what we said that we came here for and we were so enamored about, it's amazing to me how we all allowed the dark to come in and rule. And then everybody started doing things that they know that they didn't come here to do. It is nothing wrong with, I believe, and that's just my personal belief. And since I'm not reading right now, I guess I can come on camera. Hey, everybody. Since I'm not reading right now, I can come on camera. But we all had this great love and feeling of love and humanity. It kind of reminded me of a time, and I guess that's why a lot of people felt that it was some type of spiritual connection. It reminded me of the time of the Million Man March, the very first one, when we thought that it couldn't be done, and then we had over a million. They said it was the 2 million or more men uh, in one place, all praising and humbling themselves and rededicating themselves to family, to community, to themselves, forgiving themselves, being hugged by men that they never have had that intimate relationship with. Because in many of our cultures, we're taught that men aren't supposed to cry, they're not supposed to feel, but yet we want them to love us tenderly and gingerly. How can they do that if they're not supposed to feel, if they're not supposed to cry, if they're not supposed to touch? How can then we expect to get that from them? I think we demand too much of what other people tell us we ought to be demanding from somebody. I think it's all about, I guess, individuality and what we expect and what we are able to communicate one to another. But I just thought about how we all came together and wanted to do so many great things. And then I think about the climate, the environment today. And it's nothing like what we all came here for. And that's what's disheartening. It's nothing like what we all came here for. And Alicia told Ass, I'm so sorry, Ass. I know you need love too. I'll lay off temporarily. Yes, Laquita, they do. And I think that's unfortunate, especially as a mother, because what's so sad about that for us as a people is that I don't know at what point in time that men got to the stage where they would tell another young man, you can't cry and you can't do this and you can't do that. And I think a lot of that comes from what they're not allowed to do as men in the world and how they're treated and mistreated. So then they put on this persona. But what we have to remember, and my cousin, we used to have some very deep conversations, he and I, and he would always tell me about him being her. And what he meant by that is, how is it that I can say that I don't feel and I can't cry when I came from you? So everything that I have, you have because I came from you. And that's so very true. We're just a man with a womb. Therefore, we are womb man. And the man is us without the womb. And we created that in the womb. And so we have mixed communications. And when you don't communicate with one another, things seem to fall apart. I've said this before. When you see a man and a woman in a relationship, to me, it seems like the more lasting relationships are those relationships where the spouses, the boyfriend and girlfriend, whatever you call them, tend to have more enduring names for each other. When they are purposefully being kind to one another, because that's what that enduring name will do. It's very hard for you to go upside the head of somebody who you call honey or darling or baby or sweetheart or sweetie. Whatever those enduring terms are, it's very hard in my mind to see you going upside the head of somebody that you put in a place that is so special, so delicate, and so dear. Same for the woman as the man, because, like I stated, women also are very vicious and vile and are abusers as well. And then we have to take a look back at, most of us don't want to do this, but you have to always, in order to resolve any issue, you have to put a timeline to whatever it is that you're talking about. You got to have a beginning in order to get to an end. You cannot have one without the other. There's no way I can have an end of something if I don't know when it started or how it started or why it started. There's no way. You always have to have a timeline on any subject matter. You got to have that. And it's unfortunate that people don't want to invest in themselves. They'd rather invest in the destruction of others. That's what we've come to here on YouTube. And when I think about how I used to watch YouTube, never in a million years did I think about destroying anybody. I just came for what I got out of it. If it was knowledge, it was knowledge. If it was to see the animals and the calm and to learn about nature, it was to see the animals, the trees, the different insects, whatever it was that I was getting out of it. Never did I imagine being a part of something just to tear somebody down. That never, ever, ever crossed my mind. It's amazing that that's what most, it seems, live for on this app, is to be a part of something that's going to tear down another human being. I want to thank everybody for the likes. I have 23 likes, and I thank you very much. I don't think I've seen 23 people in the chat. So I definitely want to thank you all for the likes. It really means something, not only to YouTube, it means something to me with the engagement. And it brings reality to me. Uh, as the Torah say, I cry for others unless you're a imp. And I think they call that an empath. You wouldn't understand. And an empath is a person that has, I guess, an exorbitant amount of empathy, and they can feel other people's pain and whatever other people are going through. And Laquita says, I'm a bigger person. I'm going to be the bigger person and apologize. And so Alicia said, Laquita, no problem. It's hard being a woman, laugh out loud. Crystal says, Asatar asks, I completely understand. And that's true. And one thing I found, and Rachel has the praying hands, one thing I found though about apologizing, Laquita, because I used to do a lot of apologizing, but then when I started really looking at a couple of things, I don't do that anymore. Now, I will apologize if I feel I owe you an apology. And if I know that I've done something to wrong you, I would definitely apologize. But I also understand one of the things that's written about forgiveness, if you choose to go with the written version, is it was asked the question, how often should one forgive another? And it was answered with as many times as they asked. And they gave the number 77 times 7. Okay, my thing is where we mess up a lot of times as people who are kind hearted and want to make things right and move forward, we don't allow the people to ask for forgiveness. We forgive these people before they ever ask for forgiveness. Therefore, they may not even know we've forgiven them. Or we may even say it verbally that we've forgiven them. And then they're looking in their minds, I didn't ask you to forgive me. And they keep the same energy. Now, you would think once you ask somebody to forgive you, if you feel that you've done them wrong, or you believe you did them wrong and you want them to know it and you want them to forgive you, some people would take that and actually, live with that. But I found that most people that we forgive didn't ask for forgiveness, ain't seeking forgiveness, and do not acknowledge or accept forgiveness. And that's unfortunate. But one thing I learned too about forgiveness is for you so that you can move on. So whether the person acknowledge, accept, or reject your forgiveness, as long as you do what you know that's right to do, because it is also written, for as much that lie within you as the individual, you do what you can to keep the peace. And that's what it sounds like you are, Laquita, because I know that's the type of person I am. Now, my tone of voice always gets me, and a lot of people think that I'm just the meanest person in the world, and just my tone, and that may be true. I can't argue that fact because I do use my voice and my tone for what I need it to be for, but a lot of just is who I am and how I say things and how I do things. And so sometimes that confuses people as well. And I certainly know that it confuses children. You don't expect that from adults. But what I had to come to learn as I was working on myself, and trust me, it's a painstaking journey when you work on yourself. You got to really dig deep because what you got to do is deal with you, not nothing outside of you. And a lot of people spend most of their time critiquing and thinking and dealing with something outside of themselves. Your attention is in the wrong place. You got to put it on you because you're responsible for you. A lot of people say, you made me. Nobody makes you do anything. You made a decision to respond to an action that somebody did. And some of those decisions could be reflexes, it could be reflexes, but oftentimes it's a choice. And right now, I just want to be mad. So I'm going to do what mad people do. And my thing is just owning up to whoever and whatever you are and being transparent. You know, everybody is not going to cut for you. I don't care how sweet you are or how sour. Everybody is not going to dislike you. We relate to relatability. Whatever it is we think that person is feeding in us, that's what we relate to. And if we have conversations, we will find more and more things in common that we could relate to. That's one of the things about having a relationship with a person in person. That's just one of the things that you have that's different from being on the relationship among social media and the interpersonal relationships and self-conscious emotions. And this was done by Michaela Stone, and Michaela was at Harding University in this research. And then they have a lot of different people's name in this research. And I may try to name some of them, but some of them names I'm just not going to even massacre because I really love pronouncing things to the best of my ability. But some of these names, I just can't do it. Ain't no need of me lying. Ain't no need of me playing. And I'm truly a connoisseur of words. But I find as I get older, I am a butcher of words. I butch more words up, choop, 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 chop them up like steak, than pronounce them correctly. Astor said, I have this burning desire to help people. I can't explain it. I've always been this way. The Most High made me this way. Yes, she did. And that's what's it all about. Your mother created you to be just who you are. And if you happen to be separated from your mother, then that's where all of the strange things come in that you really can't explain about yourself. But I guarantee you, if you would spend some time with yourself, and the best way to spend time with yourself is with a pen and paper and write your thoughts, your fears, your feelings, your hopes, your dreams, your angry, I should say anger, your animosity, whatever it is, put it in writing. And don't write it for other people. Write it for yourself. And take a good look at it. It'll help you with your shortcomings because we all have shortcomings, no matter who we are and how great we may be to somebody else. Realistically speaking, we all fall short of other people's expectations and sometimes even our own. Realistically speaking, we can't be all things to all people. We can't even be some things to most people. We just have to be. And that's one of the things, once I started researching who we were before we were slaves, that I wanted to get a comprehension of who we were. Who we were. Yeah, Laquita, I promise you, it is so liberating. And I know that because I worked actually the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. And I was not an alcoholic and I was not a drug addict, but the people that I loved had those issues. And because I was a part of the rehabilitating program, you come to learn that anybody that have these illnesses are actually a family disease. And it affects everyone in the family. We all have a family dynamic, especially if there's more than one child. Then you have the placement order. And then, in some families, they still go by the hierarchy. The oldest tell all the others what to do. And in some families, that still work. In most families today, that does not work at all because a lot of children don't know of that. And we've had so many different variables that was put in place to tear our family structure down, starting with the welfare system back in the 60s when they gave us a semblance of what they call civil rights. writes, and this is one woman's opinion. This is not false information. You could go read some of the statistics and formulate your own opinion. That's what I like for people to do, actually, to research and then form your own opinion. And once you do that, nobody can really tell you anything or pull one over on you. Laquita says, Maria said, Laquita, I do it. It helps. It really does. And Laquita said, I'll be boohoo crying doing it, but I will. Yeah, you will. You really will. But I need to. Yeah. And you do it alone. You do it alone. And you don't do it for nobody but Laquita. I promise you, it really will help you. It helps you also get prepared to share with another human being, which means that you could possibly go to therapy, because a lot of us think that therapy is for a crazy person, or what I'm gonna tell you my problem for, or blah blah blah. We do it every day. We do it with people that we love and we respect, and some we may not love and respect, but we tell them things in hopes that they will probably say something good, say nothing at all. And oftentimes what happens is, once we get in odds with one another, then we get it thrown back in our face. And that's something that you don't do. You get your trash out to empty the garbage. And once you empty the garbage, you take it to the landfill where they destroy the garbage. And then you leave it there. And so that's why you write when you don't have no one to talk to. It's a song, I talk to myself when there is no one to talk to. People wonder why I do what I do. It helps. It really does. Now, when we were growing up, we was taught if you talk to yourself, then you're crazy. Something wrong with you, and something could really well be wrong with you. But something could be oh so right with you. Because now you're listening to what's being said. And it's written, how can one be taught? How can one learn except they be taught? How can they be taught if it's not being heard? It's you got to hear as well as read. Sometimes you got to hear the sound. That's why people need to hear I love you. But if I love you is not backed with an action of love, then that's just empty words. Uh, Maria said, Laquita is very therapeutic, sis. And then Asator says, Madria, I wish I had a choice in the matter, but I don't. Coaching basketball was my calling. I knew things about basketball that nobody taught me when I was first touched the ball at the age of 8. And Laquita say, I will. Asator said, in the United States. In Armenia, I never knew what the game basketball was or ever existed. This is in 1988. Yeah, I'm old. I knew how to play without anyone teaching me. And Maria said, Asator, you are great the way you are. And who you are is great. Krista said, Laquita, girl, the tears be burning my eyes. I wipe my eyes, take a deep breath, and keep expressing my thoughts. Yeah, it really, really, really helps. I promise you, it really does. And so Alicia said, now this is a conversation. Tell the truth about it, so Alicia. And Laquita said, y'all get into my heart. That's what it's all about. I used to have a program. I was at the Potter's House, and I'm sure you all have heard of T.D. Jakes. Well, I used to look at him on YouTube before he came to Dallas back in 1994. I used to look at him. And then 1995, he was kind of talking about coming to Dallas. And then I used to say, if he came to Dallas, I'm going to have a ministry in his church. Now, I'm just saying this now. And in 1996, he came to Dallas and opened up his church. And it was in June of 1996. And I went to the church. And true enough, we joined the church, my son and I, my daughter, which is my niece that I call my daughter, and her mom, and my oldest sister. We all, joined the church. And uh, he was getting the ministries together. And so I raised my hand because I was a family member of an alcoholic and a drug addict. And so I wanted to be a part of the recovery program for the family. And I came up with the ministry called Nehemiah Anonymous. And it's short Neanon, which for the family members of alcoholics, it's called Al Anon. And so I did a 24-page curriculum. My niece and my nephew were college graduates. And so they gave me some guidance, but I wrote this curriculum based on a Wednesday night Bible study that T.D. Jakes preached on about Nehemiah rebuilding the wall. And they rebuild the wall using the same old marred and scarred burnt bricks. And that's the way I looked at recovery for the family. Is you take the same scarred, marred, burnt, hurt people and you rebuild as a family. And my ex-husband, my second ex-husband, he can draw uh, beautifully. And he drew my logo, which was a family, a husband, a wife, children, and they all had the sword in one hand and the brick in the other. And they were laying the bricks, rebuilding the wall with the same marred bricks that was around them. And so that's what Nehemiah Anonymous was all about. And it's no better feeling when you learn how to free yourself. We don't know how because many things in our families are not spoken of. And we don't even know that we have a need to free ourselves. The Toxic Parents little series that I was doing was so very important and so helpful before I got really discouraged because one of my videos, they wouldn't allow advertisement, and I could not comprehend how could you not let advertisement on something that's teaching people how to heal. I am sick and tired of people calling me all kind of dastardly names, laughing, making fun of me. I don't want to deal with that anymore. I choose not to. I want to keep teaching people. I can only say so much about growing and knowing who we are. I've dropped keys after keys. I have videos. I've done everything I know to do. But I got on here to uplift fallen humanity, not to put anybody down. So when you know, everybody say this. I don't know if they actually do this, but a lot of people say when you know better, you do better. I think that people love saying cute little sayings. I don't think they love living the sayings. I think they just like hearing them and passing them on. And nobody really knows what they're talking about because nobody is actually doing any of the things that they say. And that for me is so very disheartening. And coming back to Nehemiah Anonymous, one of the things that I learned because I had worked the 12 steps of AA, and I worked those steps as a non alcoholic, non drug addict, but I had a desire not to do either one of those. And I needed to find out how did I lose myself in a relationship? What about me that made me go from this person that I knew, loved, and respected to this person that I had no knowledge of who she was, where she was, and why she felt compelled to control another human being? It was very, very, very toxic. And it was all in the name of love. So it wasn't ugly, it wasn't beaten and all that kind of stuff. It was just toxic, and it could not work. It couldn't for any relationship, no matter what you put before the ship. Any relationship, there has to be two people communicating, cooperating, having some semblance of the same goal and desire in mind. How can two walk together except they agree. If we're going to be in disagreement on everything, we can't be together. And who determines what we're going to agree on? We do as individuals. We come with opinions, we come with ideas, we come with hopes, we come with thoughts, we come with dreams, and yeah, even expectations. And then we have to come to what we call, some people call it a compromise, some people call it a consensus, some people call it a meeting of the minds and the heart. But we have to get to a place where we both are looking toward and forward to the same things happening for us. That has to happen in whatever relationship you have, a friendship, a romantic ship, a parentship, a siblingship, no matter what cousinship, no matter what the ship is. Those things must take place. And there has to be mutual respect, honor, integrity, and love one for another in order for those things to work. And I know, don't nobody want to hear that shit you talking. Maybe not. But see, my inside, my knower tells me, hey, sure, you're not the only one that feel like this. And what you've learned, I learned it through recovery. You can only keep what you have by giving it away. I would love to see the Cash App bling, 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 and the super chat ching, 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 like I see with all the bull. But that doesn't happen. But see, this is something I love. And they told me if I do something that I love, I'll never have to work again and I'll never have to worry about a dime. And now I'm an $11 million heir. So if I never see anything, one day, soon, I'll see the benefits of that million. And a lot of people think, oh, she's not going to get nothing from this person. It ain't about no person. It's about knowing. Knowledge is power. And it's written. And I believe it's Hosea 4. My people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. I promise you, if you seek knowledge, you got to seek it. You'll find it. It's written. Everything we need to know is written. The question is, do you want it? And then once you answer the question if you want it or not, and that answer is yes, then you must ask yourself, how bad do you want it? And if you say really bad, then are you willing to do what it takes to get it? And all of that has to do with you. It doesn't have to do with messing over nobody, doing nothing to nobody, doing nothing for nobody. It all has to do, it all starts and ends with you. It really does. So it's all about what you're willing to do and what you're willing not to do. Will determine where you're willing to go in life. And you have to have a degree of arrogance, of humbleness. You got to have a degree of it all. You can't just be one way. You got to be multifaceted. You really have to be. Because you're going to meet all types of people as you climb up or come down. You're going to do that. Crystal said, I was taught if you speak back to yourself, you're crazy. That's what they say, but trust me, speak back to yourself. You'll find out not so much. Maria said, Crystal and Laquita, yep, exactly. Let them fall. That's the therapeutic part. When you finish journaling, you will feel so good. And that's a true statement. Laquita said, thanks, ladies. You're so very welcome. So very welcome. Crystal said, Madria, right, with a more clear outlook, too. Laquita said, Crystal Williams, ain't nothing wrong with talking to yourself at all. No, it's really not. So Alicia said, wow, Toothless. Crystal said, always. Madria said, Laquita, no, it's not sometime. You have to be still and talk to yourself and God to see clear sometimes. And Laura said, I remember going. Laquita, just don't talk back to yourself. That's when you blur lines, laugh out loud. No, you got to talk back to yourself. It's a must. You see, a lot of people, and it is a scripture that's written that lean not to your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge him. But you got to lean on you. You all you got. Now, I can also share with you, it's your best thinking that gets you in some of the worst messes that you've ever been in. So that's why you have what we call discernment. And that's why you have intuition. And that's why you have self-discipline. You see, that's why you have reasoning. That's why you have a brain and a consciousness. So you have to use all of these things. Anytime something is one way, it's dogmatic. And it's not fair. You got to be open. And I'm telling you, I used to be one of those tunnel vision as people, not open to nothing but me and what I believed. And as I say, I done moved over about 6 inches. I've moved over quite a bit for me. Because remember, he's met me on my moved over stage. He didn't know me on that other stage. Not at all. Yeah, and Laquita, I learned that if you put an ing on that first hurt, those are the people that are mostly hurting people. It's hurting people hurt people because we've all been hurt, but we don't go around hurting people just because we've been hurt. Most of the time, they got to be involved in some right now pain, and it makes them lash out. We do that a lot in words. Most of the time I was very good at misplaced anger. Never showing the anger toward the person that I was really angry at. It was always misplaced and went to the wrong individual who probably had nothing to do with what I was feeling at that moment. But they just happened to come at a time when I needed to lash out and too coward to lash out at the person that I needed to. But didn't realize that I was too cowardice. Didn't know that, but that's what it is. When you cannot do it and face it, then you got to find out what inside of you that won't allow you to do it. Because whatever it is, trust me, it resides inside of you. And if you keep allowing it to breathe and to live, it will then become a part of you that takes over you. Because it's already a part of you. But it'll be a part of you that takes over you. And we all have human emotions and feelings and lash out and do. So we're not talking about, every now and then type things. That's human. And a lot of people don't want to face real reality of being what we're supposed to be. And that's human. And Laura said them taking the idea. Yeah. And Aquita said love is blind. And believe it or not, that's the lie that the person tell you that want to take advantage of you. Love is not blind. It's a conscious decision. And it's an action. Love sees very well. It's your willingness to forgive. You see, it's also written. He saw my faults, looked past them, and saw my need. Well, I don't know who he is, but we definitely know that's mothers do that unconditionally. You see that song that I sing, Kim, that little line, you're free to dream because she sees what you can be. See, even when you can't see, your mama gonna be there, and she gonna see for you. And if the two can mesh, then that's beautiful, because then it gives you that inner self-esteem, self-worth. It comes from out of you, but somebody has to pour something in you for it to come out of you. And if no good thing is being poured into you, you ain't going to have the ability to go pull it out, because it's there all the time. But it's laying dormant because nobody fed it. Nobody fed it. You have to feed any good thing, just like you do the bad. You have to feed it. It is hungry. Just like the little girl in us and the little boy. I don't care how old you get, you will always have that little you inside of you. And if you don't deal with things that happen to that little you when you were little you, you'll be grown you doing little you things. You got to pay attention, love, honor, and respect the little one that lives inside of you. Because those thoughts, those memories, no matter how we suppress them, they have a way of creeping back. And sometimes it could be something that somebody said on the internet that triggers a thought or an action that took place against you. Sometimes it could be a song. It could be just driving at a certain speed in a car. You would be amazed at the things that can bring back things that you thought were no longer a part of who you were, but they were always there, waiting for you to address it and deal with it. Because I promise you, if you don't deal with it, it'll deal with you. It will. It will deal with you. Maria said, Laquita, and that's a painful lesson sometimes to learn, but we are strong and we'll work through it. You got this, sis. I know it. And I know she's right. I second that motion. Laquita, I'm not much, but I'm all I've got. And I don't know if you have my email. You can email me at any time. You can inbox me on IG. If you have a question or a thought or a feeling. And a lot of people don't do the inboxing and the texting and the calling and all that. I have no problem with that. I have no problem with that. I'm like Drake. I ain't looking for no new friends, but I do care about people. And I do care about how you handle whatever you're doing for yourself. I can't make you do it. I can't do it for you, but I can certainly give you some direction, instruction, and I can tell you what happened to me. And I know what happened to me. I'm not the only person that happened to. They don't have all of this good stuff out here to help us just because of me. Because it happened way before me and it'll continue to happen after me. See, there are some of us that innately we just can't go with the status quo. It's something about that don't sit well with us. And we got to know more. We got to do more. And that's your inner you. Mother gave you. And if you nurture it, it's not easy. And nobody can tell you when to do it. I'm not a psychiatrist, a psychologist. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not an attorney. I'm not a lawyer. I'm none of that. I'm a mother. I'm a woman. I'm an Asiatic woman. I'm a sister. I'm a baby sister. I'm an older sister. I have one little brother that's under me. So I'm both. I'm an aunt. I'm a cousin. I'm a friend. I'm an enemy to somebody. I'm all encompassing. I'm all of that and more. I am who I say I am. I don't pretend to be and don't have to. Never have, never will. And that's on the for real. So Alicia said, Laquita, I talk to myself, answer, and speak in third party all at the same time, too. We all do, I think, at times. I really believe we all do. For real, though. Oh, no. I've been holding people accountable since a child. Get that right. Letting them know how I feel. The emotional one is what I was called. And that's what people will call you. And it's good to be able to share emotions. It's very good to be able to feel emotions because most of us don't know what we feel much of the time. Most of us have no clue what we're really feeling. If somebody asked you how you feel, you describe how you feel, 9 times out of 10, I bet you couldn't really do it and be honest. The quitter said, you're right. We all have flaws. Ain't nobody perfect. You have feed the love to yourself. Yes. Hi, Sucker Free. Good to see you. So Alicia said, how can people not want to listen to Toothless? This is content, real food for the soul. A lot of people, they don't come here for real food for the soul. And they let you know that. A lot of people are in a lot of pain. And listen to me mean you got to deal with you. A lot of people don't want to deal with themselves. And I have no problem with that. I'm not for everybody. Just for whosoever will. And that's fine. It would be beautiful if more people were willing to deal with themselves because that's what I'm about. Dealing with self, loving self, and then being where you want to be. And we all pretend we want to see something different for us and for our children. But I don't know what we're doing for our children with everybody hating on everybody and playing plays and talking about each other like dogs and cats and thinking it's funny and ha ha he he. None of that stuff is funny. None of the painful stuff that's been said and done to each other is funny. If it is funny, it's funny to the one that it's not happening to. Because trust me, if you're the one that it's happening to, ain't no laughter in it for you. Maria said, Laquita, yes, we do. And when you can acknowledge you have them is key. I'm sorry, is the key. Can I get the email, ladies? Someone can drop it in the chat. It's scrolling up there. Drop the CY Journ. But toothlesstiger7@gmail.com is the email. Oh, thank you, Uncle Shug. Thank you so much.
Your face. You got to remove the excess water. Now she's coming
This
down.
is how you do it. Thank you. Crystal said these conversations are necessary for us. Thank you, Crystal. I appreciate that so very much. Phyllis say just try to make good choices so you will not have to regret your choices. Uncle Suge said, Ma Maria. Look, he said, I will be emailing you too, but it's fantastic. Maria said that Laquita put her Instagram in chat too. Uncle Suge said, Toothless, Tiger. That's what talking about. Suge, greetings, broski. I can just hear him saying that. Y'all don't know. Essetar is so funny. He tickles me so much. Oh, Lordy. That Essetar is funny. Oh, the for realer. Sucker Free said, you're one of the positive lights in the dark place. Seriously, Toothless. Thank you so much, Sucker Free. I greatly appreciate it. That is my desire because I came only to uplift, not to destroy anybody. It's about us being able to talk as us, being who we are as a people. That's what I wanted out of this whole thing, and that's what I thought our goals were as individual. We came with our own ideas and our own thoughts, but I thought we were all working toward a common goal. And it still can be a common goal. It really can be. But everybody just do it individually toward something great. We should not let what happened between two people and then it broke down into little bitty sectors of people destroy us all. You know, we've been destroyed too much. That's our problem. We are resilient people. We are brilliant people. We have so much to offer and we've given it. And everybody take advantage of who we are. But us, we hate who we are. Why? We are beautiful. Not everybody and everything, but the majority of us are as human beings. There's only a few bad apples. Now the Osmond brother says, one bad apple don't spoil the whole bunch, girl. But one can. It starts with one, and then that one will rotten another one next to it. And then that one gonna rotten the one next to it. It's just like they used to say on the commercial. You tell two friends, and so on, and so on, and so on. It's the same with one bad apple. If you don't get that bad apple out of there, the bad grape, the bad peach, whatever is bad, if you don't get that bad out of there, trust me, for some reason, humans gravitate to bad before they'll ever levitate to good. And good is about levitation, moving up, going up, up and away in my beautiful balloon. You can go, the sky is the limit. But you gotta want it. And one thing I learned, and I've never heard it really put into words as much as I have as when I talk to Asatar, and that is, you gotta love whatever it is you claim you love more than whatever it is you claim you hate. And if you don't do that, then I'm gonna tell you, Houston, you have a problem. You gotta love whatever it is you say you love more than whatever it is that you say you hate. And only you can fill in those blanks. Only you, the individual, can fill in those blanks. And here go Asatar. Now, so Alicia, you went too far. You what I call cuckoo for cuckoo box. See that? Thank you, Laquita. Tell him. See, he don't even know. I can't stand nobody always trying to be funny and don't even know what to say. Now he's shaking his head. Yeah, you ought to shake your head to the left, to the right, and so on and so on and so on. Say it again, Maria. Want to say it again, boy? It's Puffs, Cocoa Puffs, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I told y'all that's so funny, y'all. I done had a whole almost 2 hour conversation, and almost yes, that did it. That autocorrect haven't talked at all about our subject matter, which I really have, but I haven't really talked about it in the matter. It's actually a document, and it's very interesting. And what it's talking about is social media, relationships, self consciousness, uh, emotions. And so I just kind of highlighted some things. And so I'm going to just read a little bit of it. And like I said, I'll make it available if anybody would like to have a copy of it to understand it. Because I really was thinking more about how we get the propaganda. My cousin, the one that I talk about all the time, my Simplified Dallas, he's Marine and ex-Marine, I should say, but once a Marine, always a Marine, but he's no longer in the Corps. He just came back from a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful trip. And he was talking about being in another part of the world and looking at the news in that part of the world. And it just showed him how our news is so propagandized that we only get one view of a story. And he said it was just really something to see, to get to hear both sides to a story. And see, that's one of the things that puts us at a disadvantage if we're in a one sided ship. And remember, I say it doesn't matter what you put in front of the ship. It could be a relationship between a man and a woman, a friendship, a kinship, a mothership, a siblingship, whatever it is. If it's one sided, you're at a disadvantage. And you can say whatever you want to say to try to make it right. But it's one sided. And one sided will never get you to the result that you want. It will never get you to the result that you want. If you're the only one giving, or if you're the only one taking, you don't have a chance. Because relationships are give and take. So we need to switch sides somewhere throughout the relationship. We need to switch sides during the relationship. I don't mean I become the man and you become the woman. That's not what I mean. I mean, in a relationship, there is give and take. So one has to be the giver and one has to be the taker. And then we switch sides. That gives us balance. One may be able to give better than the other. That should not be a problem in a relationship between a man and a woman. And you should not share it with other people so that they don't make it a problem. You see, everybody want to tell you how to do your thing. But the Isley brothers say it's your thing. Do what you want to do. I can't tell you who to sock it to. And I'm going to go a little further and say I can't tell you how to do it. It's between you and the individual that you're involved with. You know, a lot of people had problems with Kevin Samuel. And when I first heard him, I had a little issue. But as I listened to him. Now, maybe this high end and low end was just a bit superficial, but the principles in which he spoke of was real relative and made a whole lot of sense. My cousin told me many years ago, a man meet a woman and he just, want to be in a relationship. He want to laugh, talk, go out to eat, do the do. A woman get with a man, she want to change his clothes, his haircut. She want to rearrange his friends, what kind of car he drive, the job he's on. And that's so very unfortunate. The best thing that you can give to anybody, the best thing that you can give to anybody is honesty. And there are some things that you don't need to give to somebody that you're meeting to date. There's nothing wrong with being transparent. But there was a time when you didn't even know that person. And so there are some things you just might not ought to discuss. And I learned that the hard way. See, some things I had to pay for. And I'm going to tell you, it was expensive. They say it's a wise person that learns from their mistakes. It's an even wiser person that learns from somebody else's mistakes. And a lot of people think that you have to pay for everything you get. No, it would be wise to observe and to listen and hear what is being said and see what is being laid before you. Sometimes it's wiser to learn from somebody else's mistakes. I guarantee you. Okay, Laquita has two boys, 17 and 10, always bickering. Don't use your superpowers as a tool. Not your superpowers. Thank you, Crystal. Thank you. Let me play one or two of my little songs. I'm going to take a break for a second, and I'll be right back with you guys. I'm going to read a little bit, and we'll get ready to end soon. I really appreciate you guys for being here with me. It means the world to me. See that old man over there in his chair? This old man is living in the bottle. He done quit his 9 to 5. He drink full time, and now he's living in the bottle. Well, see that old man over there in his chair? This old man got a problem, and it's a bad one. Now he done pawned off everything, his old woman wedding ring for the bottle. Well, and don't you think it's a crime when time after time people living in the bottle? These people living in the bottle, y'all. Money, 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 money. Money, 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 money. Some people will sell you out. Do you know what I'm talking about? Some people tell jokes of dirt. They don't care whose feelings they hurt. I was told from times of old, the game's to be sold and not told. If you don't know what I'm talking about, hang around YouTube and you will find out about that mean, oh mean, mean green, almighty dollar, cash money. Well, people don't let money, don't let money change you. Almighty dollar, cash money. People don't let money. Don't let money change you. Almighty dollar. They just keep on scamming and scamming everybody. Check them out, scamming and scamming everybody. I tell y'all, people don't let money, don't let money change you. Money, 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 money. Okay, we can't let it change us, y'all. We just can't do it. Good night, Laquita. Escator is crazy. Escator is absolutely asinine. Okay, Laquita. Escator is asinine for real. I mean, he's just really zip up back crazy. Okay, y'all, let me just tell y'all a little bit about the subject matter. And it is about social media, the relationship among social media, interpersonal relationships, and self-conscious emotions. Social media is recognized as a source of modern communication that highlights the thoughts and emotions of individuals when they post. There has been clear evidence to suggest both positive and negative effects of social media on emotions. So y'all can tell me what y'all think, voice some of your opinions in the chat if you agree with any of it or disagree or have another opinion or can add on to the opinion. See you too Wednesday. Furthermore, as the communication is a vital aspect of relationships, many studies have shown that social media has both positive and negative effects on a relationship. Although social media has built positive connections with individuals, there was clear evidence to support the barriers social media and technology built among family relationships, though not as much among friendships. And that said friend relationships. Researchers have discovered the different types of social media influence self-conscious emotions. The self-conscious emotions that will be examined in this study are shame and guilt. Individuals have mistakenly confused shame with guilt, but there is a clear difference. To briefly explain, let me ask y'all before I explain, do anybody care to write in the chat what they believe the difference between shame and guilt is? It doesn't have to be essay or anything, or you don't even have to write it. But if anybody wants to, I'm going to give you a minute or so to see if you want to write what you believe the difference between shame and guilt are, because there are differences. And remember, I've shared time and time again, these are two emotions that we are actually given to feel, but we're not supposed to live there. And a lot of our problems, the reason we can't get past ourselves is because a lot of us live in these two places. It's not an avenue, it's not an address, it's an emotion, it's a feeling, and we should work through the feeling. Okay, let me go on. Individuals have mistakenly confused shame with guilt, but there is a clear difference. To briefly explain, shame involves a negative view of oneself, which could lead to feelings of mistrust and worthlessness. However, guilt is a feeling of regret for perceived wrongdoing or offense. Tracy ETL 207 defines shame as involving persistent negative feelings of an individual's overall self, whereas guilt involves negative feelings about a behavior acted upon by an individual. The majority of researchers found it challenging to discern both the positive and negative effects of self conscious emotions. Hence, there was difficulty in reaching a consensus. So, even the researchers had a hard time in coming together with a meeting of the minds about these two emotions. Individuals need to have positive interactions with other individuals to counteract some of the negative results that social media has on self conscious emotions. And we know that's true because look at all the negativity of what they so called beefing and how it affects not only the person that is being attacked, but the person who have become fond of the person that is being attacked. And there's nothing you can do about it but sit idly by and see and hear this happening. One of the only ways that we could actually stop that from happening if we stop feeding the beast that is participating in that type of behavior. Unfortunately, too many of us have real life issues that we choose not to deal with. So we would rather be on here laughing at someone else's pain than actually dealing with our own pain. That's what I've found to be true. Whether anybody else agree or not, I don't know. But that's what I believe and that's what I stand on. Kim and Stavrositu 2018 found that experiencing negative emotions through Facebook could produce positive results in an individual's well being, and vice versa. Positive emotions could produce negative results. Vermillion, ETAL 2018, discovered that adolescents experience both shame and guilt when posting about their emotions on various social media sites like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, etc. Furthermore, they found that when teens believed that they were posting too much, they felt as if they were annoying, resulting in feelings of shame. The researchers also stated both the quantity and the content of posts, e.g., those that are weird and unnecessary, shameful, or too personal or emotional, such as a very sad or depressive, also generated feelings of vicarious shame. And then it gives a page reference and ETAL. And ETAL just means more than one, and two meaning the name. Could even be just three, but normally it's quite a few. 2015 found an association between social media use and social comparison, which could result in guilt. And Maria said, guilt is something you've done intentionally that you feel bad about. And she said, yes, it does have a positive and negative effect. Okay, not only do the emotions of an individual affect their behavior through social media, but also their interpersonal relationships. Interpersonal relationships can be defined as deep associations between two or more individuals. Moreover, there are different types of relationships, such as friend, family, and romantic relationships. One source suggested that adolescents not only have increased effective communication with their friends through text messages rather than with family, but also through various forms of social media sites. McMillan et al., and that's ETAL, 2018. Different types of social media networks have forms of messaging similar to text messaging. And I found this kind of interesting here. I think this is where I found it kind of interesting. Let me see. Such as Facebook, instant messenger, Snapchat, etc. Most individuals reported having satisfied friend relationships from social media. However, dissatisfaction can arise from these friend relationships when there is a comparison among romantic relationships. No, that wasn't the part I found interesting. Although I highlighted that, that wasn't the part I wanted to talk about because I know how it affects me. Okay, be safe. Safe travels. Hannah, ETAL 2017, found through Facebook that not only are there negative effects among romantic relationships, but also with an individual's self-conscious emotions. Research literature has shed light on social media's impact on emotions. However, the aspect of how social media has impacted interpersonal relationships has been less considered. Thus, this study explores each of these variables to find plausible correlations and to better understand the implications and impact of social media usage on interpersonal interactions, self-conscious emotions, and relationships among modern individuals. For the most part, contemporary society has not stopped to consider the full ramifications of social media usage on self-conscious emotions and interpersonal relationships. Constructive examination of research from many groups confirms the influence that social media has had on communication patterns, self-conscious emotions, and interpersonal relationships. This study sought to explore each of the variables in search of plausible correlations among them. We're approaching the part that I want to kind of expound on. One group of researchers found that Facebook was associated with low self-esteem and increased self-objectification. Then they named a whole group of people, 2017. They also noted positive and negative effects were evident among family, friend, and romantic types of relationships. Furthermore, Goodman and several other good people in 2016 examined how technology affects family relationships, specifically extended family, and stated persistent use of cell phones, but not computers, was associated with negative work family spillover, high distress, and lower self satisfaction. This group explored different aspects of social media effects on family relationships, specifically extended family. Goodman also observed that sending text messages was negatively correlated with both the immediate and extended relationships, revealing dissatisfaction from communicating via text message compared to face communications. And that's one of the things that I have a problem with, for sure, with the texting, that a lot of people like to do the texting. And to me, it does have a negative connotation because it kind of seems to me that like you don't really want to hear the person's thoughts, voice. You just want to say what you want to say and want them to just say something back. I don't know if anybody else feel like that, and if you do, let me know, and if you don't, let me know. But that's one of the things that I found to be true in that situation there. I found that to be real true for me. And then it goes on to say, however, in the same year, somebody named Bartelos, along with others, discovered that the social media app Snapchat was used as a more personalized communicative device for sending text messages between teenagers and their families. Text messaging, specifically messaging within the social media platforms, shows a negative association with family relationships, but not friendships. And then they go on to give an example. Mention that young adult participants said they use Snapchat to strengthen their relationships among their social friend relationships. Goodman measured the variables of close friends and distant friends regarding close friends. The researchers found that middle aged individuals had more satisfaction in close friendships, communicating face to face and through video calls when compared to the youngest age group. In contrast, regarding distant friends, these researchers found that the oldest participant age group had higher satisfaction with distant relationships through technology than the younger group. I could see that. It also says in Western cultures, previous offline research indicates that social comparisons with friends, dating relationships are common, and these comparisons affect relationship satisfaction. Morey found an issue of social comparison among romantic relationships when viewing other individuals' profiles through sites such as Facebook. Individuals in romantic relationships had experienced anxiety, low self esteem, and lower overall satisfaction in their relationships when considering social comparison through media. Kim and Stavrositu, 2018, found that experiencing negative emotions through Facebook could produce positive results in an individual's well being and vice versa. Positive emotions could produce negative results. Vermillion discovered that adolescents experience both shame and guilt when posting about their emotions on various social sites, such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. Furthermore, they found that when the teens believed that they were posting too much, they felt as if they were annoying. This is the same thing they just said a moment ago. Let me come on down. Both the quantity and content of posts, those that are weird and unnecessary, shameful, and too personal, are emotional, such as very sad and depressive. We read that. Shame and guilt are both examples of self conscious emotions that are recognized among a diverse group of studies. Tracy in 2007, in a study conducted by Vermillion and a couple of others in 2018, teenagers were interviewed about their experiences with sharing positive and negative emotions through social media outlets, which revealed that adolescents use words pertaining to self conscious emotion such as shame or guilt. When asked about the experience of posting on either Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, etc., another study suggested that Facebook use has been associated with increased feelings of stress and social overload, lower self esteem, loneliness, and depression. Loop in 2015 and Tracy, ETAL 207, also mentioned that many theories claim that shame was directly linked to challenges with creating positive relationships with others and making positive impressions on others. Another study revealed that sharing emotions was important for dealing with emotions, and feedback from others was necessary for individuals. Pertaining to self conscious emotions of guilt, Tracy, ETAL 207, stated that guilt can be associated with antisocial behaviors and that conversely, lack of interpersonal relationships may cause guilt for an individual. And it goes on to give the hypothesis and the methodologies and the results. In the discussion phase, it says, by and large, those with lower guilt and shame proneness are the ones that are using social media. In other words, individuals survey respondents that are likely to experience guilt and shame in everyday situations are the ones that tend not to be on or use social media as much. An increase in checking of social media was found to be related to lower interpersonal relationships scores. Lastly, there were no significant relationships discovered between self conscious emotions and interpersonal relationships. Essentially, shame and guilt proneness were not found significant when associated authenticity within a romantic relationship. And then they give a point of reference, and then they have appendices with a lot of different statistics on them. And so that was the topic of conversation, and we kind of talked about that in and out, but that is one of the subjects that Regina suggested that we, get people's opinion on. And it doesn't seem like people have too much of an opinion, but if you do, feel free to share it. And if you don't, I'm going to get ready to end the live. I've enjoyed myself, and we've been here for 2 hours and 16 minutes. And I hope that you guys have enjoyed yourselves as well. I try to be here when Maria comes back because what she's doing is going to her job. And so I try to be here when she gets back. Yeah, so if anybody want to comment on any of that I just read, one of the things that I really agreed with was that about the texting and the age gap and how the people felt about texting and face to face communication, or I should say ear to ear communication on the phone. I agree with that as far as the elder people for myself. I would rather talk than to text. Number one, I'm not a good typist. I don't like typing. I just have to do the typing. One moment, please. Oh, okay, Crystal, that's good. Yeah, I think it's really interesting, and I think it kind of gives to basically what we kind of see, from the actions of people and how and who they support. It kind of all goes hand in hand. It's not probably in depth, but it really certainly gives credence to the belief of why people gravitate to certain things and support certain things and don't support others. I thought it was pretty interesting. But I tell you, for people like myself, 65 and up, we're not really, some people are very good with technology, but a lot of us are not and don't even want to know the technology. But one thing I do know for sure is we got to learn if we don't know nothing but how to access our, accounts, because everything is going digital, and you pretty much are going to have some type of app to do some type of business. So it's very beneficial to learn what we can. And like I said, you can use the phones that we have every day that we talk on. We can use them to actually come up with the fact that Google will help us answer any questions that we have, because there's so much we don't know. Okay, so hopefully you'll be through real soon and you can give us your thoughts, because we would love to hear your thoughts either by text or, by you coming up, however you want to do it. But it would be great to hear what your thoughts are. Asatar, outside of being funny, you are definitely, definitely, definitely knowledgeable, and one can really learn a lot from you. That's for sure. I appreciate you guys participating in the conversation. It really helps the time go by, and I love the engagement myself. Sometimes it's just good to hear, you know, how other adults think, especially if you're not around a lot of different people and you don't have a lot of interaction, via personal interaction or via the telephone. Although I get to communicate with my, siblings and nieces and nephews on a daily basis, but it's just sometimes good to hear other people's thoughts and opinions. At least that's what I think. It is good to be able to agree, because again, it's written, how can two walk together except they agree? You got to have some things in common. And it's amazing to me how when you hear different people individually, they all say that they're against the craziness and the beeping and the talking about each other, but you don't see them supporting people that don't do that. And they have a right to support whomever they choose, but it's just hard to believe that these people really don't enjoy and get pleasure out of this stuff, and they're smack dab in the middle. And they don't mind letting it be known that they're smack dab in the middle, but yet they really hate this type of behavior, they say. That's what's funny and amazing to me. Social media is truly addictive. It's just like music. This song that I've been, listening to since October the 5th. I've literally been listening to that song 24/7. I turn it off so I'm not on the air getting a strike for listening to these people's songs. But I love, love, love the song now that I found out what it was. And it's Turn Your Click Up. That is a nice, nice, nice song. I used to hear it on TikTok all the time, but I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what they were saying. And Asator and I was talking, and we tried to figure it out. And of course, that wasn't it. The Barbie song he gave me, but he tried, and he was, I guess, as close as you come. And then I started asking Google questions when we hung up, and I found the song, and I've been listening to it ever since. And I just love that song. I love the little guy's voice, and I love the hook. And there's some guy named Jay who does beats, and he remixed it with a lot of rappers. And boy, I just love that version. It's like 53 minutes long, and it is off the chain. And I learned how to loop on my phone so that it can continue to play without me having to start it over. And man, it's just been click up heaven over here. Yes, ma'am. Google will do it. Yes, ma'am, Crystal. I second that motion. Yes, it did it for me. And I've been clicking up ever since. And used to be when I was younger, I could hear a song one time and could tell you every word in a song. Today, I can listen to a song 1,000 times, and I maybe can tell you 5 words in the song. I don't know. I must not be listening for the same thing now. I don't know what the difference is, but uh, I can't do it today like I used to could when I was much younger. But I used to could hear a song once, and I knew every single word that they said, and they could be going at twist of speed. Matter of fact, he's in the long version of this song, but I really enjoy listening to that song. And so I listen to that song in my rain at night when I want to try to go to sleep. And I listen to it all through the day when I'm awake. And I got to listen until I get it out my system. So I'm on the 10th day today. Maybe it'll be gone soon. Maybe not. But that's the way I do music until I get it out of my system. And every now and then the loop will go off, and then of course Mo3 will come on, and so I listen to all of his songs because that's my favorite rapper, and I can't get him out my system, and then I have to go back to this song. Yeah, Krista, it's real. And my people be laughing at me, but it's my reality. It's a good thing that I was never a drug addict or an alcoholic because I would probably be one that wouldn't recover from it. It is so good that we have our individual strengths and our individual weaknesses. And when you have strengths that people can see, it's very hard for people to witness any weakness that you show because they seem to put you in a whole different category of human. But what I love about being human is no matter where people put you, you should know your place and you should know who you are and your limitations, what you can and you can't do. And once you do that, then you can truly have joy. You may not always be happy, but you can have joy and be confident and feel good about who you are and what you are, right or wrong. You would love to be found being right more than wrong, but it happens to all of us. You may have a combination of both. Some days your good don't outweigh your bad. Some days your bad win. Is a story about this little fella and his grandfather, and he said he had a devil and an angel on each side of him, and he asked which one wins, because they're warring with each other. And the grandfather told him the one you feed the most. And that's with anything that's going to win in your life, the one you feed the most. So if you feed the negative the most, you're going to get negative results. And you just have to know that. I'm going to have to go on pause for a moment. See that old man over there in his chair? This old man is living in the bottle. He done quit his 9 to 5. He drink full time, and now he's living in the bottle. Well, see that old man over there in his chair? This old man got a problem, and it's a bad one. Now he done pawned off everything, his old woman wedding ring for the bottle. Well, and don't you think it's a crime when time after time people living in the bottle? These people living in the bottle, y'all. As Tatar says, the difference is we have a lot of mumble rap currently, so it's harder to understand. Beats have gotten better, but lyrics have suffered a lot. True that, I could agree. But I don't think it's because it's hard for me to understand. It's just that I don't comprehend it. And I know that that sounds like I don't understand. No, I'm talking about I don't comprehend me not being able to do it. Because I can really understand a lot of the mumble rap. I just don't retain it. And maybe it's because it's mumble. I really be hearing what they saying. But that make a whole lot of sense with what you're saying. Crystal say, Asatar, I know, right? Okay. Well, I thank y'all for 31. I actually have 31 likes, but that's outstanding. Thank y'all very much. But I tell y'all what, Asatar, are you still busy? Because if you are, I'm going to get ready to say good night. Or is that what you want to say about the mumble rap? Or no, you want to say something about the article? Okay. uh, he wrong for that. He he is absolutely wrong for that. Okay, y'all. I know y'all think I done lost it, but I haven't lost it. I was waiting to see if Asator was going to respond before I hung up. I mean, before I closed out. I'm talking about hung up. So, what is the weather like in some of y'all cities? We had a beautiful fall day today. The weather is always a good go-to conversation. Okay, okay. Astor said he won't be able to come up, but he said that's why the songs used to tell a story, so it was easy to remember. Yeah, and that make a whole lot of sense, Astor. Now it's just a bunch of BS that rhymes and sounds good. I agree with that wholeheartedly. That make a whole lot of sense. And it is easier to believe or to remember or to tell a story, especially when you're a storyteller. Yep, I agree with that 100%. Of course, that's kind of what we already uh, came up with when we was trying to come up with these songs and how it's the beats and stuff are so much better, but like you said, the words and stuff are just nothing. And so it's kind of like we're more stuck to the beats as opposed to how when we were growing up it was more just like the lyrics. And then they even had good music, they had orchestras and stuff like that. Yeah, they had orchestras and stuff like that. I was looking at Barry White's story today. Um, it was a sad story, but his musicality was, fantastic. You know, it was just awesome. But they said that he had gotten up to 150 cigarettes a day. Now, I just don't know how a person could smoke 150 cigarettes a day. He was cigarette poor, but they actually said this man smoked 150 cigarettes a day. And I did not know that he was born in Galveston, Texas. He was reared in Watts. 150 cigarettes a day. I just couldn't believe that when I heard that. But they didn't have no reason to just say that. So I'm like, dang, dang. And I don't seen chain smokers, but I guess you never really think about the numbers. But I don't seen people that really did just smoke, put one out where they light a new one with the one that they putting out. I've seen people do that. But 150 cigarettes a day, I couldn't even imagine that. That's what they said. 150 a day, and it's 20 cigarettes to a pack. Unless he was buying, the cans of tobacco and rolling them himself. But yeah, he was born in Galveston, and then they moved to Watts in California. Well, everybody, I guess that, let me see, he was awake 24 hours a day. That's 6.6 an hour. That means he smokes one cigarette every 9 minutes. Got to be more careful. That's about 8 packs a day. Yeah, it was almost, it's about 10 short of 8 packs. Uh-huh. 10 short of 8 packs. That's for real. Because it's 20 cigarettes in a package. Like I said, I don't know if he was rolling them himself or if he was actually, smoking a brand. And ever since I can remember, it's been 20 cigarettes in a package. And they were having an issue, his son, with his ex-wife and the girlfriend who he was with when he passed. She was able to get the home that they lived in, and then 2 years later, she sold it after getting it. That could be about right because when you smoke a cigarette, it could last 3 to 6 minutes, or he could be doing two every 6 minutes. But that's what they said. It's on YouTube. I don't know if y'all remember that commercial where this lady was talking about this guy, and the guy talking about it's on YouTube. They don't lie. Was it YouTube or was it the internet? I think it was the internet. They said it was on the internet. The internet doesn't lie. But that was a commercial. It's funny. But anyway, I've had a beautiful night with everybody, and I hope you guys enjoyed it too. We'll be back Wednesday. If all is well. I look forward to seeing everybody Wednesday. Yeah, it had to be. 150 cigarettes a day, that's a lot of cigarettes. But considering he still lived, I guess, a ripe old age for 150 cigarettes a day. That's what they said, 150 a day. That's a bit much. But everybody, I want you guys to remember Aaliyah, that's the young girl that was put out the basketball team. I haven't heard an update lately, so I don't know what's happening with that situation. And always keep in your hearts, CJ. Um, his mom was sick. She was in the hospital last week, and she got out, and she's doing better. But she was very ill, and she's doing better. And remember, not me, whoever he is, we won't be bullied, stalked, harassed, mistreated, underappreciated. Don't let anybody do any of those things to you. Know that you matter, no matter who you are, and no matter what you're going through or what you've gone through. And I know people say they don't come to the internet for help, and for those that don't, they don't have to. But there is help available in any area of your life. On YouTube, you can find some amazing videos. And if you come to the Tiger's Den, you can find some amazing lives twice a week on Sundays and on Wednesdays. And I look forward to everybody coming back. So thank you guys for joining me. And y'all know I'm going to leave with my little favorite song, Speechless. I wish everybody a good night and a beautiful rest of your week. I'll be forgetting what days of the week it is, and I think tonight was Sunday. So have a beautiful beginning of your week and be productive and have fun the best that you can. And remember, for as much that lie within you, you do your best to keep the peace. We can't worry about what other people do, say, think, or feel, but we can choose this day how we choose to live it, and live it in joy, in peace, in love, in truth, in freedom, and in justice. If you do those things, you would have met any requirement of anything good. We can't worry about the bad because we have to look out for that and safeguard our hearts, our minds, and our bodies from that. Please, 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 please keep an eye on the children. I am going to do that story. I seen where there was 1,000 children that came up missing in the month of September from Cleveland, Ohio, and I started doing some other cities, including my own, and we had quite a few children to come up missing as well. And we probably ought to just really want to know what is it that these children are coming up missing, and they all seem to be around the same ages, somewhere in the early preteens up to before they reach 18, and a few of them may have gotten 18 or so, but they're in the like 12, 13 to 16, 17-year old bracket. And I don't know, but that's a subject that we're going to talk about, the children. And we say we believe they are our future. So what are we investing in our future? That's something I would like for us to be able to discuss. Isetta says, safe week, everyone. God loves us all. Good night and good morning, Chad. Thank you, Isetta. Good night. And Crystal say, yes, yes, another great live. Thank you, Crystal. I certainly appreciate you and all of your support. Maria said, everyone have a good night. Good night, Maria. I hope you're sleeping good and feeling much better. Asatar said, I've had uncles, cousins who used smoke 3 packs a day, but not no damn almost 8 packs a day. Yeah, well, now you've heard of it. And it happened to him. Asatar said, good night and sweet dreams, everybody. Krista said, most likely organ harvesting. Okay, good thought, good thought. Rachel says, so sad. Yeah, it is. And Toothless is going to say, good night to all. Love you back, Maria. Good night to all. And, oh, man. See, that's why I come on. See, that's why I come you got to know what you're doing. I just took all that away. I was finna tell y'all, remember the hashtag, not me. Justice for CJ and justice for Aaliyah. What? Oh, I know what it is. I forgot my hashtag. There you go. I want to thank everybody for the super chats and cash apps. So thank you so very much. And here we go. I'm getting ready to leave the Tiger's Den. Have a beautiful night, everybody. YouTube. When I look at the subscribers that I received over the past year, 60 subscribers compared to other content creators. Some started when I started, some came after me. The numbers are not numbering. From what my numbers tell me, I gained one subscriber every 6 days. YouTube, you got me. You got me. You've got me, YouTube. You've got me speechless. You've got me. You've got me. You've got me. You've got me speechless. All I can say is yes, yes, yes. All I can say is yes, yes, yes. Ooh.